What up? Welcome back to the Fight Pit, ladies and gentlemen. It is the boys in the house. You know how we do it. Every single fight card, every single week, we are here for you. Today, we are covering UFC 307, Pereira versus Rountree Jr. going down Saturday, October 5th at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Intro music. What up, ladies and gents? How you doing today? It is the boys in the house call sports. The Fight Pit. We are here covering UFC 307, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Oh my goodness, bro. We've been looking forward to this one, to say the least. With us today, of course, your resident mod, we got the boy Drew. But for today, I will be referred to as Droaton. And joining me, welcoming back the beast of the bad beats, we got Sean Ryan Sports. Sean, how are you today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing so much better now, man. So much better now. I've been looking forward to this one. Sean is fresh off of he's in some recovery right now. He just had an operation and said, hey, put me in, coach. Put me in. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So I appreciate you toughing this out and joining me for this one. We just wrapped up UFC Paris. Moicano was able to stingray and engulf Benoit Saint-Denis. Not to toot my own horn, but I did not pick Moicano, so I lost that one. But Moicano did do what we knew that he was capable of doing, and very impressive first round. Ended up getting the doctor stoppage. Sean, thoughts on UFC Paris? Anything at all that stood out to you?
I want to say one thing. Brian Battle, dude, that's one way to get to superstardom real quick. Like, you got the name, flicking off the damn Paris fans. The things you said, just saying that you really thought I was going to lose a fist fight to a French guy. Like, dude, that's how going into enemy territory and just immediately no, I'm gonna be chaos. And that's how you do it. That's as simple as that. Sometimes you don't have to be disrespectful, but they were flicking you off from the get-go. So it's like, you know what? You brought the same energy right back. It's like Brian Battle, you just rocket shipped yourself, man. Like, everyone's going to be watching your next fight, and they want to see you in enemy territory. I don't know if you're fighting again in America. That's for damn sure. I think you're going anywhere else.
Bro, I totally understand. Also, depending on how it goes, if he gets, not saying that I expect this out of him. I feel like he's not the type of dude to take that route. But if he gets to like Colby Covington status, he might not be able to go anywhere other than America. Like, he might, or like Chael Sonnen might be a liability at some point if he keeps that up. True. But that was, man, and we absolutely love Brian Battle. You weren't on the last one with us, but didn't you also have Brian Battle against Ange Lusa?
I had a Brian Battle fight in the past. I don't remember which one it was, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
I've had him before, and the one other guy I had before, and I saw he was fighting, and I was like, oh, sweet, a couple of my guys I had before fighting on this.
It is kind of cool when we get to like be consistent with it when we get these assignments too, because then it's like it's like we've been studying these guys for so long. It makes it easier. That's a good point. But yeah, that Brian Battle fight, that was I had that one. That one went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I had a feeling that Brian Battle was just had a chip on his shoulder after that last one, and I freaking love the guy. It's a dude with the last name Battle who does battle, you know, for our entertainment. Like, he's always just been one of those dudes. I'm like, that's exactly what you would expect from somebody like that. And he's a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I am not mad at that at all. He's got all the perfect, like, you know, attributes to make a run at some point. He's not one of those guys that we see as like super lacking in one area. So, and he's obviously got the mic skills, obviously knows what he's doing on the mic. So great for him. Great for him. Before we jump into UFC 307, I am going to take a second to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, PillowFight.co. Blissfully soft and shockingly supportive. Pillow Fight's commitment to premium foams and fibers provides superior comfort, all while being soft enough to cradle you to sleep. Your sleep is so important, folks. Please make sure you take it seriously. Pillow Fight can help you with that. It is worth every penny to invest in your rest. Pillow Fight doesn't skimp on the details, neither should you. Their innovative sleep designs and detailed craftsmanship means that their pillows actually help to not only help you get to sleep, but improve your sleep once you're there. And Pillow Fight is obsessed with making a difference. Every purchase at Pillow Fight allows them to donate pillows where they are needed most. Everybody needs a pillow. Everybody needs that good pillow, need that knockout pillow. They're all good. They're all good. So go to pillowfight.co to learn more, to find out about all of their wonderful sleep products. And thank you guys so much. We will have the link down in the description. You can just scroll down just a tad, click, and you're right there. Easy peasy. So thank you very much to Pillow Fight for supporting the boys in the house, the Fight Pit. We appreciate ya. Now, let's jump into some of these prelims. I'm not exactly sure the bout order. There are a few different bout orders across the net, across the pages that I frequent. But I am going to do my best. If this ends up being a little bit out of order, it happens sometimes. We do these early, so sometimes things get switched up. But we'll kick it off with Court McGee and Tim Means. Court McGee sitting at a 21-13 record versus Tim Means at a 33-16-1. My goodness. Both of these guys have been fighting forever, man. And most of their fights were in the UFC too. Court McGee has 5 KO wins, 5 submission wins, and 11 decision wins. He does have 10 decision losses, though, something that jumped out at me. Something to keep in mind, too. He's 2-3 in his last 5. His last fight was a unanimous decision loss to Alex Morono back on April 6th of this year. He is, I think he might be one of those guys who's getting up in the 40s, too. Tim Means is 40 years old. Court McGee is 39 years old. We got the old dogs out. Old dogs out to play on this one. But Tim Means, 40 years old, still kicking, man. 33-16. He has 20 KO TKO wins in his career. 5 submission wins, right? And 8 decision wins with 1 draw and 1 no contest. He has 3 KO losses, 7 submission losses, and 6 decision losses. So I don't see him losing by knockout. He does not do that very often. He is 1-4 in his last 5, unfortunately. And his last fight, he's coming off of a TKO loss to Uros Medic, also back in April 27th. Even though it's difficult to pick, I feel like I gotta stay away from the money line on this one because it's who fucking knows with these guys, you know? This one is tough. Both of these guys are so experienced. They are certified veterans. They are certified mixed martial artists. They're good at everything. There's nothing that either of these guys are going to throw out there that the other one hasn't seen already. They've been through it all. They've fought, you know, some of the biggest names in the sport. Even today, you know, Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez, back in the day, Thiago Alves for Tim Means. Tim Means fought Bilal Muhammad, fought Alex Oliveira, Neil Magny. He's fought everybody. Both of these guys have fought everybody. Like, there's very, very little these guys haven't accomplished in the sport besides making it to a championship fight. I love both of these guys, so I can't really say that I have a bias towards either one. They're not neither of them are really my favorite fighters, but I just feel like this one is. I feel like this one's going to go to a decision. I do feel like it's going to be a dogfight, though. I feel like it's going to be an absolute dogfight. But this one's just, it's so tough to call. It's so tough to call. I'm going to say that this one is going to go the distance, over 2.5, or fight to go the distance. I feel like that's going to be favored. But that one is just so difficult for me to call a money line because neither of them are doing too well as of late. Neither of them are on a run. They both strike. They both are not afraid to strike. They both land fairly often. They're like, you know, take one to give one type of guys. But that one, ultimately, I would have to lean towards Tim Means. I feel like Tim Means is doing more as far as the pace, at what pace that he's landing. I feel like he lands more. I feel like he could outpace Court McGee. Court McGee, not to sound like disrespectful or anything, looks like he's slowed down just a little bit. He's always been one of those like zombie kind of guys like Chris Lehman, kind of prodding forward, not really the fastest, not the hardest striker, but just really tough to put down, really tough to like actually do any damage on. So I'm going to lean towards Tim Means, but I'm going to stay away from the money line as far as the betting is concerned. So official pick on this one, I'm going to say Tim Means money line. I will say the over 2.5. I think this one goes the distance, but that one is very, very tough. The next one up on the bout order, I do believe, is Ryan Spann versus OSP, Ovince St. Preux. Sean, I'm going to let you, if you have a pick for Tim Means or Court McGee, feel free to throw it out there. Otherwise, we'll jump right into Spann versus St. Preux.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you with the Tim Means, Court McGee, where it's like, it's one of those maybe leave off your parlay because, yes, Tim Means on ESPN says he's a -240, but Court McGee could win this fight too easily, and it like I do like your bet of over 2.5, but at the same point they do hit and they hit hard. Like someone will go to sleep real quick too, so it's like it's one of those. It's like I'll just leave this one alone. On to OSP versus Ryan Spann. This is a weird fight. I'm going to go over some numbers first, and then I'll explain why I think this is so weird. Ryan Spann, -340 favorite, 21-10, 6 KOs, 12 subs, 7-5 in UFC on a 3-fight losing streak. He is 6'5". He's 33 years old. Pretty damn big. Even in the light heavyweight division, 6'5" is pretty big. Usually like 6'3" is where is basically the height you normally find. And he has a very good reach for 6'5". I think he has a 6'7" reach. So very good reach. Gosh. OSP, but the thing is he has 12 submissions. Like his KOs, you would think 21-10. His KOs in most of his fights you see, he's mostly striking. He's not taking people down. A lot of his submissions were prior to UFC. OSP, 27-17, 13 KOs, 7 submissions, 41 years old, doesn't fight like it, 6'3", like dead on, like the average, I would say light heavyweight is about 6'3". 15-12 in the UFC, 27 fights in the UFC, on a 1-fight win streak against Kennedy in Njoku. And that's a pretty solid win too. This is a weird fight because I do believe Ryan Spann, the way he has to win this fight is he does have to get OSP to the ground. But he doesn't do that often. He doesn't shoot for takedowns a lot. And over his 3-fight losing streak, he's looked bad. He's just as looked bad. And it's hard to pick him in this. Even this is one of those that it's like, I really, really feel the underdog at plus 270 can win this fight. I should be picking Ryan Spann off of, but it's like I'm one of those that the way I pick fights is by looking at their last couple fights. And OSP, like he doesn't look any different than he does 5 years ago. Like when he was 36. Like he's you're getting what you're getting. He's not diminished. Well, Ryan Spann, he's looked bad, even though he has fought decent fighters, very decent fighters at this time. But man, I'm definitely leaning OSP. I think going the distance is definitely the pick on this one. I know you want to hear with UFC 307, a stack card, that it should be, we want to see finishes. They will come. Don't think it'll be this fight. This fight, I don't see a finish. I feel it. I would not be surprised if OSP wins this 29-28. I really would not be surprised by any means that the underdog wins this fight here. Because I just don't know if Ryan Spann's going to get those takedowns. And I understand Ryan Spann has the reach, the height, but he's not a quick striker either. He's not. Like, you can have all the reach and strike. Like, I'm a tall guy and stuff. It doesn't mean I'm going to beat Drew here. Drew has the experience. Like, I'm getting my ass whooped probably. So it's just how it is. Like, it's OSP was a former kickboxer outside the UFC. Like, he is very good on the feet. And I think this could, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to pick underdog right off rip. OSP, 41 years old, plus 270. I'm probably putting in one of my parlays just for the hell of it, just because it's going to juice anything up. Like, I feel 29-28 decision. Like, Ryan Spann might shoot a takedown late, try to get a submission in, but OSP survives. He doesn't get finished. Like, that's another thing. So, like, I could be completely wrong. This could be a really bad take, but I just don't – what I don't see where Ryan Spann is winning this fight. I just don't see it. Yeah, so I'm picking OSP, 29-28 decision. Your best bet's going the distance in this fight, in my eyes, is the best bet. I don't feel confident enough in Ryan Spann or OSP to really put a chunk of money down, but if you want to build like an underdog parlay, go right ahead. OSP is my pick.
I like it, dude. I like it, honestly. I feel the exact same way. Like, OSP surprised the heck out of me in that one. I was really glad that I hedged on him when he was such a big underdog on that one. I don't know what it is, but he's still got it. He's still got some stuff left in the tank too. So yeah. I'm not mad at that at all. What would you say for the rounds on the over under?
Oh, the over 2.5. Like, it's a 3-round fight. So I would even say go to distance. Like, there's usually an option for going to distance. I'm picking it. Like, yeah, it'll give you a tiny bit better odds. Yeah. Fight
to go the distance. Is that your bet pick?
Yeah, that would be my like more guaranteed type bet for sure. But
I like it.
Definitely, if you're looking for that underdog parlay, here you go. OSP right off rip. And if it busts, like, hey, it's early. You got a lot more fights afterwards. Make a new one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm willing to put that against my record too. Ryan Spann, I don't know.
Let's go. Let's go. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm down to go down on OSP. Pause. But the next one.
Oh my god.
We got Carla Esparza versus Tecia Pennington up next. And this one, like we were saying earlier, I don't know if we were recording yet. We were saying that Carla Esparza, that she has announced that this is going to be her last fight. And it is against Tecia Pennington. This will be one half of the people who are married fighting on the same card. I don't know how often that's ever happened. I know there was a few, like we had Yana Kunitskaya and Thiago Santos. I don't know if I know they got married, but I don't think that they ever fought on the same card. I can't think of anybody else. I remember Miesha Tate and Brian Caraway. I remember them fighting on the same card. I don't think that they were ever married though. So this is, I'm pretty sure if this isn't like the first, it's got to be one of the first 3 times that 2 people who are married fought on the same card together. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know about Amanda Nunes and her wife. Like, I think they didn't fight on the same cards for a reason, but I don't think they did. If I'm correct.
Yeah, and if they did, I don't know if they were married at that time too, because I don't think that they were married when they first both got into the UFC.
Yeah, no.
That's a good one. I'll have to look that up. But anyways, one of the first times that's ever happened, folks. So, if not the first. So definitely super cool to see that. And then Carla Esparza, she did announce several weeks ago that this is going to be her last fight. This is going to be her retirement fight. So make sure you're tuned in for this one. I feel like this could have been, this is a dope card. Don't get me wrong. This is a dope card. I do feel like they could have thrown her up a few spots in the prelims instead of having it go on so early. But I don't know, maybe, you know, from her standpoint, it's my last one. I know it's my last one. I just want to get in there and get it over with and just enjoy the night after that. So I could understand, you know, if that was her mentality going into it. But as far as the numbers go, as far as the breakdowns go, we got Carla Esparza at a 19-7 versus Tecia Pennington at a 13-7. Both of these, they are both vets as well. They both have been in the UFC and helping to further advance women's MMA for quite some time. Carla Esparza, she's 36 years old. So I understand wanting to put a pretty bow on it, put a cap on it. She's got 4 KO wins, 4 submission wins, 11 decision wins, coming off of a submission loss to Weili Zhang back in November of 2022. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute. But besides that, she beyond that loss, she had a 6 fight win streak going on up to the Rose Namajunas title bout. So she was on a tear until she ran into Weili. But I do think that that bodes well for her in this one. Tecia Pennington, she's at a 13-7. And she's 35, so they're both about the same age. 13-7. She's got 1 KO win, 1 submission win, also 11 decision wins. She is 3-2 in her last 5, and her last fight was in May of this year against Tabitha Ricci. She dropped a split decision, so got close, ended up losing, but she was able to battle one of the up-and-coming prospects of the 115 division right now in Tabitha Baby Shark Ricci. The main thing I want you guys to know about this one is that it is going to a decision. It is absolutely going to a decision. I don't want you to think any other which way. I am going to give you some numbers. I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown in all aspects of the fight, but make no mistake, this fight is going the distance. As far as the grappling is concerned, the takedown averages per 15-minute fights. Tecia Pennington averages 0.61 takedowns. Carla Esparza averages 3.22. The takedown accuracy is at a 35 for Carla Esparza and just a 14 for Tecia Pennington. However, Tecia Pennington's takedown defense is at a 65%, which could make things interesting. The defense advantage on striking is with Tecia Pennington. She has 61% striking defense. The decision rate for Carla Esparza is 60%, for Pennington 85%. So like I said, this fight's going the distance. Okay, that's going to be my bet pick for that one. Both of their average fight times are almost an entire 15-minute fight. They both average 13 minutes. Carla Esparza, 13 minutes and 57 seconds. Tecia Pennington, 13 minutes, 48 seconds. So both of them average about 14 minutes of fight time. It's going to be very highly unlikely that either of these are going to get something that's going to stop the fight before that 15 minutes is up. Thankfully, it's easier to pick that one because it is just a 15-minute fight, a 3-rounder. If it was a 5-rounder, I would be a little bit more skeptical, but because we got a 3-rounder on this one, I am official pick. I'm going Carla Esparza money line. I think that she is going to dominate the grappling. I think she's going to be able to get Tecia Pennington down. As far as Tecia's, I don't have the reach on here.
Reach, Esparza has a 2.5-inch reach advantage.
Okay, yeah. So Tecia Pennington, the one who is most likely going to be trying to rely on doing damage on the feet, is lacking in reach. She's at a 60.5-inch. Carla Esparza at 63-inch reach. So I think it's going to be difficult for Tecia Pennington to land on her without having to, because the smaller fighter, smaller reach, of course, she's going to have to work her way into the pocket to be able to land anything significant, unless she's just spamming leg kicks the whole time. I could see that happening, but to be able to land on Carla Esparza, she's going to need to get in close. She's going to need to utilize her footwork. She's going to need to cut angles. She's going to need to try to get in close without getting wrapped up by Carla Esparza. So I think it's going to be a tough one for Tecia Pennington. There is a universe where I could see both of the Penningtons winning on the same night. I just don't think it's going to be this universe. I feel like Carla Esparza is going to ride off into the sunset. I feel like she's going to retire, lay down the gloves on a win, and just, you know, wrap it up with a nice pretty bow and call it a career. And I want nothing more for her. I think she deserves it. She's paved the way for several of the champions that we've seen. She is, Sean and I were discussing it, she is one of only a handful of women fighters who are 2-time champions. I think that we decided that Rose Namajunas was the first one. Not entirely positive because we're both just going off pure memory on this one. But Carla Esparza retiring as one of the few 2-time women's champions in the UFC would be very fitting. So I do hope that she gets that. I'm going to say official pick money line, Carla Esparza, over under 2.5 rounds. And my bet for this one is fight to go the distance. All right, next fight, we are going to lightweights, and my man Sean is going to let us know about Alex Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. This is going to be a good one. Take it away, Sean.
This is another one where it's, if you look at stats alone, you're going to kind of lean towards the underdog, but this time I don't believe I will be taking the underdog like I did with OSP, and we're actually on a 2-fight underdog streak in a row, which is pretty cool. That's always good to pair them up for underdog parlay. But into this fight, Alex Hernandez, 14-8, 6 KOs, 2 submissions, 6-7 in the UFC. Not that great. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's a 5'9". He has a 1 height disadvantage. Reach, he has a 1-inch advantage, so he just has a longer arms with a shorter body, but it's 1 inch, so it's not really too big of a difference. We'll go to Austin Hubbard. He's 17-7, 5 KOs, 2 submissions. He's 5-5 in UFC. He came off the he came off of the McGregor versus Chandler Ultimate Fighter, and I think he lost in the finals, if I'm correct, but it was an incredible fight. I do not remember which pay-per-view it was on, though. It was a prelim on a pay-per-view, but it was an incredible fight. So Dana's like, dude, yeah, you're getting into. And then he's on a 1-fight win streak. He did win since that loss in the basically the championship, like to get the contract. And he's 32 years old, so 1 inch height difference, 1 inch reach difference, 1 year age difference. across the board, when you look at stats, they're pretty similar, both of them in UFC. So this is a second stint in UFC too, obviously, because he was in UFC prior. Now he's back in UFC. This fight is actually going to be really exciting. These guys are just going to go at it the entire time. They both have decent ground game. Both are great on the feet. It's just they just come out on the wrong end a lot of the times, and they're not like getting finished. They're losing a lot of decisions. I do think this will be a decision fight. That would be my best bet, is over 2.5 for decision. I am going to go with the favorite, Alex Hernandez, because he's been in the UFC in one stint and he's been fighting better fighters over that period of time. Yes, he's been losing. He's 6-7, 2-fight losing streak, but he's been fighting dogs. While Austin Hubbard, he's obviously 2 fights ago, he was fighting in a championship of the Ultimate Fighter. So that is legit, but it's still not actual guys in the UFC just yet. So I'm going to be going Alex Hernandez by decision. Would I be surprised if it's 29-28 or even possibly a split decision? No. But I think the safest bet is over 2.5 or by decision.
Yeah, we're bound to have some. We're bound to have some. I totally understand it.
We're soon going to be getting into these ones that are going to be a finish streak. I know that it sounds like this is now 4 in a row we're saying decision basically, but yeah, there's a couple of these that could be finishes, so we could be wrong on, but they're coming. 307 has some killers.
There's going to be finishes in this one.
Yes.
Absolutely. We don't know exactly where, but we know it's coming. One of the ones that I think it may happen is in our next fight. We got Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Potieria. Ihor Potieria. Oh, that one was tricky. That was tricky. I was not confident as that was coming out, dude. I was not confident at all.
Came out well, though.
Cesar, thanks, bro. Caught a speed bump on that one. As soon as I started with it, I was like, oh man, I don't know if this is gonna land at all. I don't know if this is gonna work out. But this one's gonna be sick. It's middleweights, so of course, you know, the higher up we get, more likely there's gonna be a finish. Cesar Almeida is 5-1. Ihor Potieria is 20-6. Now this one was a little interesting for me because Cesar Almeida, albeit he is an absolute beast, is opened up as a -425 on this one, going up against Ihor Potieria, who is opened up at a +330. Yeah, +330. Dang, bro. I don't know how I feel about that one, man. I don't know how I feel about that one. Cesar Almeida, 36 years old, 5-1 record, 4 KOs, 1 decision win. His only loss came by decision. Was riding a 5-fight win streak until his last fight, where he met up with Roman Kopylov back in June, and Kopylov handed him his first loss by a split decision. Here's where things get a little bit interesting in my eyes. Now, Ihor Potieria at he's got a record of 20-6. He's 28, so he's almost a decade younger. He's 6'3", whereas Cesar Almeida is 6'1". So he's going to have height. I do believe he is going to also have the reach. Minority Report, my other, yeah. Ihor Potieria has a 1-inch reach advantage and a 1-inch leg reach advantage. He has 9 KO wins, 6 submission wins, and 5 decision wins. So he is going to be capable of finishing this fight. You know that Cesar Almeida, all of his 4 of his wins were by KO. So you do know that he is going to be looking to strike also. We say it all the time when it comes to striking. If I'm close enough to hit you, most of the time you're close enough to hit me, which is why defense is important. Having a 1-inch reach and having a 1-inch leg reach, having a 2-inch height advantage, it's going to mean that Cesar Almeida is going to have to get close in order to land anything to have the possibility of stopping the fight. And being able to get close on someone like that puts you at a risk. Puts you at risk of catching something coming back. And Ihor Potieria has 9 KOs of his own. He's lost by KO 4 times. That's the one that that's the method that he's lost by the most. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that Almeida gets a really quick knockout. But I do think at a plus 330, I think that should be just a tad bit closer, because I do feel like Potieria has the capabilities to win this fight, more so than the odds are letting him know. He's 2-3 in his last 5 off the Contender Series. His first loss was to Nikolai Negumereanu. The next loss was Carlos Olberg by TKO. Happens. The next one was Rodolfo Bellato by TKO. And his last one was by Michel Pereira submission. So very, very likely that if Potieria is going to lose this fight, it's going to be by a finish. I think you're going to have to finish him. Cesar Almeida, 1 loss by decision. That's his only loss. So I think that if this fight does go the distance, I think Potieria has a very high likelihood of winning this fight. I think the longer that it goes, the worse it fares for Cesar Almeida. Potieria does land 1 more strike per minute. He lands his significant strikes at a 50%. So take 1, give 1, 50% here or there. His absorbed strikes per minute is 5.4, which is a huge, huge indicator that if Almeida does pressure and he does look to put him down early, like I was saying, that defense is going to be oh so important, because if Almeida gets close to you, he's firing. He's firing. This one, I definitely want to hedge on Potieria. It's going to be another one of the underdogs on the parlay. I say, you know, we go OSP, Potieria, and maybe another one that I'll throw out there once we get to it later on. But I'm going to say that this one does not go the distance. Official pick, I'm going to say Almeida money line. I'm going to say under 2.5. And my official bet pick on this one is going to be fight not to go the distance. The next one we got, oh, I like this one. I like this one. This is, I'm biased because it's been one of my favorite fighters for a long time. Sean is going to let us know about number 6, Marina Rodriguez versus number 14, Iasmin Lucindo.
Yeah, first I want to apologize for the Marina Rodriguez because I got your fight last time. I picked against you and you lost. And I'm probably going to do that again. But that's the same, even though you are a spectacular fighter. And I'm going to go over some of the stuff. 17-4-2, 7 KOs, 1 submission, 7-4-2 in the UFC. She's lost 3 of her last 4. But they've been against beasts, like top 5 in the division fighters. Like she just lost a split decision to Jessica Andrade. That was razor close. It was extremely close. She's very good with her range. I noticed in that fight, she knows how to use a front kick, which is great. You don't really see a lot of women using front kicks much, and she's very good at keeping you away. Because she actually has a shorter reach in this fight while she's 3 inches taller, which is quite amusing. She's 37 years old. You wouldn't have guessed that. Like, you would think she's like 30. Lucindo, I'm saying your last name because I'm going to butcher your first name. 16-5, 8 KOs, 3 subs. You're 22 years old. That one's the one that jumped off at me. Like, whoa, 22. This is a huge step up in competition. So I know you're minus. Yeah, 22 years old, and you're getting Marina Rodriguez. Like, wow, they really are trying to push you. Like, yeah. That's what before even doing any research, when you see that, you're like, wow, they're really trying to push her to be a superstar. Like, they're looking for it. And her fights, like she's on a 3-fight win streak, 3-1 in UFC, 11 finishes in her 21 total fights. You don't see that ratio with a lot of women. That's a scary ratio. That's including her losses. She has 11 finishes that she's won in those 21 fights, and you got to say 5 of those were losses. So in her wins, she's 2/3 of the time she's finishing the job. Like 8 KOs, 3 subs. Like she could get on the ground and do it too. Her big thing is how she uses her pressure. Her pressure is very good, and I do believe she will be going for takedowns in this fight. Could she stand up and strike with her? Yeah, of course she can. But if you've watched Marina Rodriguez tape, she's a spectacular striker. I'm going to go with Lucindo because her ground game is pretty damn good, and her pace is something that she's going to make Marina fight off the back foot the entire fight. Marina is going to have to use that front kick and not let it get caught and get to takedown. Marina is good at getting up from takedowns too. So she's not one that's like, oh, I'm on the ground, I'm done for. This is one of those fights I don't want to pick by decision, but I might just do it just because I got to give Marina Rodriguez respect here. Like I can't just be like, oh yeah, Lucindo's going to walk through her, because I feel like that's just wrong in that factor. Like it's tough. I'm going to pick Lucindo, and I'm going to pick by decision. I think she's going to get the ground game working, and she's going to win. I don't want it. I'm going to do 29-28. I know I've done that a couple times already, but I think Marina is going to win striking, keeping the distance at least 1 round. This would be one of the women fights I would tell you, don't be surprised if it isn't going the distance. But I still think that's the safest bet, because picking Marina or Lucindo would not be my go-to bet here. But I'm going to pick Lucindo anyway, just for the sake of it. -180, still not like a massive favorite, but great fight. This is one of the fights I'm really excited for that people aren't paying attention to.
This one, whew, speaking of exciting fights, we got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Not the fight that we were calling for, but not one that we are upset about at all.
No.
Stephen Thompson sitting at a 17-7-1, going up against Joaquin Buckley, who's at a 19-6-0. Stephen Thompson at 17-7 has 8 KO wins, 1 submission win, 8 decision wins. In his last fight, he lost by submission to Shavkat Rakhmonov, which
everyone does.
Yeah,
it
happens. It happens. Besides that, he's 2-3 in his last 5. His last 3 losses came to Shavkat Rakhmonov, Gilbert Burns, and Bilal Muhammad. He's been fighting the top of the tops forever now. Forever. At least a decade or so. Joaquin Buckley at a 19-6. He has 13 KO wins and 6 decision wins. He is currently riding a 4-fight win streak against Andre Fiallo, Alex Morono, Vicente Luque, and Nursultan Ruziboev. His last fight was May of this year, where he won a unanimous decision. This one is going to be oh so interesting, oh so much fun. I can't wait. Stephen Thompson is number 9 in the division. Joaquin Buckley is number 11. Shout out. This one is going to be exciting. This one, I can tell you right off the bat, I am taking fight not to go the distance. I'm going to go under 2.5 on this one. The striking numbers, as far as these two, they both land a little over 4 strikes per minute. The significant strikes landed percentage, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at a 46% and Joaquin Buckley at a 36%. They both absorb a little over 3 strikes per minute, and they both have a little over a 50% striking defense average. The grappling, not that I think it's going to play too big of a difference besides the defense. They both have a little over a 60% takedown defense average. Wonderboy at a 65%, Buckley at a 69%. The only takedown average on here, Wonderboy does not shoot takedowns unless he absolutely has to. He has a 0.26 takedown average per 15 minutes. Buckley, yeah, Buckley's at a 1.69, so he will mix it up a little bit on you. He will mix it up a little bit on you. He will, you know, get you down to the ground and try to work you a little bit. Both of these guys are very dynamic strikers. They both have some unorthodox moves that they use quite often. Wonderboy, of course, with the probing side kicks that he uses. I love that about him. Side kicks do work, in case you were wondering. And he uses his side kicks the way most people use a teep, just to kind of gauge distance, try to keep your opponent at bay, try to keep them at the end of your strikes without being in striking distance for them. As far as the reach and the leg reach goes for these guys, I would be surprised if they were too different. I do think Buckley probably has a little bit more. Yeah, Buckley being 2 inches shorter has a 1-inch reach advantage, but Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has a 2-inch leg reach advantage, which is going to come into play because Stephen Wonderboy Thompson throws kicks the way most people throw jabs. There will be a lot of kicks. He will be using them often and looking to set up the hands. He's got a 2-inch height advantage, so he's probably going to be on the outside. I think that Joaquin Buckley will take the center, try to pressure, try to get in close, try to land some hard strikes as often as possible. And I think that Wonderboy Thompson will be taking the outside. I think he's going to look to point and shoot. I think he's going to look to counter. I think he's going to be trying to cut angles with the striking. And one thing is for sure, he will not be shooting any takedowns. I can tell you that much right now. But this one is tough because the momentum is on the side of Buckley, in my opinion. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is older. He is 40 now, isn't he?
Yes, 41.
41. Oh my goodness. I'm so old, man. I'm so old. And Joaquin Buckley is 30 years old, so obviously the youth advantage on the side of Buckley. He has a more of an upward trajectory going on in the division, whereas Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is more or less just fighting it out. Yeah, he's fighting it out. He's getting the fights that they put. We're doing fun fights for him, trying to cap off the career with some good memories. And it sucks to say I don't see Stephen Wonderboy Thompson making a run at the title anytime soon unless something absolutely insane happens. But as far as the official picks, I'm going to say official pick. I'm going to go with Joaquin Buckley. I'm going to say he is going to get a decision. I do think it's going to be a striking match, though, so a knockout any which way is not a bad idea. But I do see this fight being more or less Joaquin Buckley taking the center of the cage, pressuring, looking to land, looking to go first, looking to land often, rocking Stephen Wonderboy Thompson with some good stuff here and there. While Thompson stays on the outside, uses his angles, uses his footwork, uses his kicks to try to create openings for himself on Buckley. And I'm absolutely going to hedge on Stephen Thompson on that underdog parlay. Absolutely. I might even take him straight up here and there because Stephen Thompson just has one of those styles, man. He is constantly moving. He's constantly showing you different angles, constantly hitting you with shots that you don't see coming. It's, he's got hook kicks that whip up over your shoulder. catches you at weird angles. He can really make this a very long and rough night for Buckley. But I think if I'm picking smart on this one, I got to go with youth. I got to go with Joaquin Buckley money line. This one I think is going to go over 1.5. I think there could be a finish. Absolutely, I think there could be a finish. I think that Buckley could catch something, could catch Wonder Boy with something, and could put him down. Could end up getting a submission off of it. As much as I hate to say it, I gotta say Buckley money line. Buckley money line on this one. I don't want to see Stephen Wonderboy Thompson lose ever, but this is a tough one. This is a tough one for him. Buckley is just as unpredictable. He's just as explosive, and he's going to be taking it to him. I think he knows this is a big name. This is an opportunity on a big card, and I think Buckley's going to come out there with some with a fire lit up under him on that one. So I'm going to say Joaquin Buckley money line as the bet pick. Wow.
I'm not against that. It's tough any time to pick against Wonder Boy, but I've played like different scenarios in my head. In a lot of the scenarios, Joaquin Buckley comes out on top. He wasn't afraid to go to the ground with Vicente Luque. Why the hell would he be afraid to go to the ground against Wonder Boy?
Exactly. That's a big thing. Yeah, that's a difference maker too. Wonder Boy is not great off of his back. Not terrible, but not great. Not great. And I don't think Buckley's going to go for, like, he's going to try to get his back, and then he's just going to go try to make a highlight reel out of him. He's going to be raining the hell out of him. Yeah, throwing some harsh stuff, some retirement stuff right there. Yeah. Do we have to do the retirement line? Is this one of those where we have a 0.5 retirement? A 0.5 retirement over? That is a good point. We might have to. We might have to. I'd say the line is set. We already know one for sure. So for it to make any money, it would have to go over 1.5. 1.5, yeah. So over 1.5, and we still have up ahead. We have Jose Aldo too. So it's like, maybe we got to set the line at 2.5 then. I think 1.5 is good because it is MMA. Like, these guys, even if it's hard for them to retire, but I think Wonder Boy, if he gets finished back-to-back fights, I think he might hang him up. So it's like, if he gets finished. And that's going to take us on to the next fight. We got number 10 ranked Roman Dolidze versus number 15 ranked Kevin Holland. Sean, take it away. I was talking to you, Drew, before we even started recording about this. Kevin Holland has he has 22 UFC fights in 6 years. 6 years. He's averaging 4 fights a year for 6 years straight. That's unheard of. Unheard of. Like, this man just he has his next fight booked before he finishes this fight. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable, and he's fighting a dog. Like, Roman Dolidze is a scary opponent. So I'll start off with Kevin Holland just because he's the easier one to talk about. Everyone should know who the hell he is. 26-11, 13 KOs, 9 submissions. Yes, he is a beast on the ground. Like, people need to not forget that. I think his last fight he won by submission too, if I am correct. And he's 6'3" at the 185 weight class, which is very good. He has a very good reach. 31 years old. So he started in UFC at 25. He's 31, and he's just has 150 fights. Like, it's stupid how many fights he has. Like, he'll have 150 fights by the time he's 40. It's not even a joke at this point. It's not even a joke. He's fought legitimately anyone you could think of. You throw a random name out in UFC, you're gonna have Kevin Holland's probably fought him. So now we go to Roman Dolidze, the underdog, plus 135. He's 13-3, 7 KOs, 3 submissions. So 10 of his 16 fights is finishes, and
10 of his 13 wins are finishes. That's great. He has never been finished, which that's an interesting stat when you're thinking about how this fight can go. Never been finished in his career. He is 1 for his last 3, but his 2 losses has been against Nasruddin Imavov, which we just watched fight and is a beast, and this last in France. And then Marvin Vettori, he lost to him by a decision, and that was back a year and a half ago. So, like, and Marvin Vettori a year and a half ago was a top 5 fighter in the division. Like, obviously that Cannonier fight, he had back-to-back fights with Cannonier and Robert Whittaker. He looked pretty bad. But a year and a half ago, Marvin Vettori was a beast. So, and his last win was against Anthony Smith by decision, unanimous. And if I am correct, that was a 30-27. He just dominated from start to finish the entire fight. He can take this fight to the ground, but at the same point, Holland's very good on the ground. Standing up, I do give Holland the advantage, but Holland on the feet has been skeptical when someone's nonstop putting pressure in their face. Dolidze, I haven't seen enough to say he does that, but I mean, 3 of his last 4 wins have been by KO. This is a tough fight because this is a bad matchup for Roman. Just because the reach, Kevin Holland's good everywhere, but he's not spectacular, but he's good enough that he can cause problems. I'm going to say we're going to get a TKO or submission. I think Roman Dolidze, the underdog, is going to get it done against Kevin Holland. Man, it's weird because I look at all the stats and everything, and it's screaming Kevin Holland. It is a plus 130, minus 195. Kevin Holland's actually a pretty decent favorite in this. But I just have a weird feeling that Roman's going to win this fight. I think he could push the pace against him. His only losses in the UFC have been against top 5 fighters at the, like, one's a top 5 currently and one was top 5 when he fought him. So it's like, in Kevin Holland's the guy, like, you get by him, then you go fight a real contender, like in the thing. And that's where I think, like, when you look at Roman, it's like, hey, he's ready to take that. He doesn't have a lot of time left. He's 36 years old. Like, he has to start fighting these guys now. Like, so get by Kevin Holland, get the job done, then call out like upper, like top 8, the top 5 area. Yeah, I'm gonna go Roman. I think he's good. I don't know if I'm going ground and pound or submission, but I think he gets the job done against Kevin Holland. I'm gonna go under the 2.5. It could happen in the 3rd round, but I feel like he's gonna beat Kevin Holland. This could be a really bad take. I'm just putting this out there. This could be a really bad take. But it's one of those that's just a gut feeling.
Who is do you have a bet pick on that one, or you want to stay away from it?
I don't think it goes the distance. So you could do under 2.5, or you could say not go to distance, because I actually think going the distance will be the favorite in this fight. I do believe that. Yeah. So I think that's I still believe that's an underdog pick. So saying not going the distance. So that means you could still have Kevin Holland piece him up and finish him and still win money. It doesn't have to be just Roman. So that would be, if I had to put money on one bet, that would be it. Not going the distance.
Next one up, we got women's 135. We got number 2 Ketlen Vieira versus number 3 Kayla Harrison. And if we weren't able to go super quick on that last fight, Roman Dolidze, Kevin Holland, I will make up for it by going super quick on this one, because this one I feel is going to be a fairly easy pick. We got Ketlen Vieira at a 14-3 record versus Kayla Harrison at a 17-1 record. Ketlen Vieira has 2 KO wins, 4 submission wins, 8 decision wins. She is 2 3-2 in her last 5, coming off of a unanimous decision win against Pani Kianzad in July of last year. Kayla Harrison, pay close attention to this part, folks. 17-1, 6 KO wins, 7 submission wins, 4 decision wins. She has 1 loss that came in November of 2022, and that is it. That is it. She's coming off of her UFC debut where she submitted Holly Holm in the 2nd round back in April at UFC 300. The opening odds, Kayla Harrison at a -800, Ketlen Vieira at a +550, and this is one of the rare times where this is one of the rare times where I feel like the line is spot on. I got no arguments. I got no arguments. Kayla Harrison, her takedown defense is 100%. As far as the striking numbers go, also in Kayla Harrison's advantage. I'm going Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison money line. I would be willing to put that as the lock of the week. I'm saying Kayla Harrison money line. I'm saying fight does not go the distance. I'm going to say, we'll say fight not to go the distance just to be safe in case it's like a late submission or so. Just to be on the absolute safe side. As far as the over-unders, I'm going to take under 2.5, but fight, the bet pick on this one, I'm going Kayla Harrison money line. You're not going to get any fucking money on it at all. So throw this one on the favorites parlays. Throw this one anywhere that you're just trying to beef up the odds by a couple points. But at a -800, man, that's going to be tough to make some money on. You could go Kayla Harrison by method of victory. I would say submission rather. But if this fight gets stopped, I think Kayla Harrison's winning it. If this fight goes to the decision somehow, I think Kayla Harrison's winning it. So Kayla Harrison money line. Bing, bang, boom. Cannot forget about this one. Cannot forget about this one. We got number 10, Jose Aldo versus number 11, Mario Bautista. Sean, let me know what you got.
All right. I want to give a little bit of a history lesson with both Kayla Harrison and then going into Jose Aldo, just because sometimes there's more common fans that want to get into the sport of MMA, and that's what we're here for. We would love to teach you some history about this stuff, and I want to give you something. Kayla Harrison, just to let you guys know, she's only 1-0 in UFC, but Kayla Harrison is a 2-time gold medalist in the Olympics in judo. When you talk about the greatest UFC women fighters of all time, on the Mount Rushmore, you have Ronda Rousey, was a silver medalist in judo. Kayla Harrison is 10 times better than Ronda Rousey when it comes to judo. There's no joke in the matter. This is the greatest woman judo fighter we have ever seen in the history of mixed martial arts. So when we're saying that a -800 and something odds with a 2 versus 3, that will be when she wins this fight and fights for the championship. That's in the co-main. The odds will be the same, -800. Not even a joke. Yeah. That's what it's going to be. It's the biggest thing about Kayla Harrison is cutting this much weight. She used to fight in another organization at 155 pounds. She's cutting to 135, which she did, and supposedly she said she did pretty well. That's your history lesson about Kayla Harrison for the newer fans of Kayla Harrison.
Good against Holly too.
She looked, she looked insane. That was, that's a scary performance. Now, a little history lesson about Jose Aldo here. He was the first featherweight champion ever, and he had an undefeated streak of spanning almost 10 years. That's in mixed martial arts outside the UFC and going into the UFC of 10 years. Like that's insane. The thing. So when people say like their GOAT might be Alexander Volkanovski of 145 or Max Holloway, don't forget 10 years undefeated before the UFC like existed. Like this man is like this weight class. He started the weight class. They needed Jose Aldo.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's 32-8, and every one of his losses in the UFC, you have Conor McGregor, won the belt. Max Holloway 2 times, the champion. Alexander Volkanovski ended up winning the championship the very next fight. Then he also had Marlon Moraes that fought for the belt 2 different times and almost beat Henry Cejudo. Like, Henry Cejudo had some dog in him to win that fight. And Marlon Moraes basically tanked out and gave up. But, like, would have been another champion. And then you have Merab Dvalishvili that just won the belt. Everyone other than Marlon Moraes has won the belt that has beat him. So when you think of who he was going to lose to, he is an underdog. I want you to think of this. He's 38. He's not 45. And he looked great in his last fight. He looked fantastic in his last fight. You got to think, all right, is this guy that he's fighting world championship caliber? Because that's what it takes to beat Jose Aldo. That's why I needed to give you this history lesson real quick about him. That's what you have to think when it comes to him. Mario Bautista, 14-2, 3 KOs, 6 submissions, 8-2 in UFC record, 6-fight win streak, and he's 31 years old, 5'9". He has 1-inch reach disadvantage, 7-year age advantage. He has the height advantage. Mario Bautista is a very, very fun fighter. Extremely fun fighter to watch. This fight is going to be amazing. I do not believe Mario Bautista just holds him down. He's actually going to try to grapple him. I want to give you another history lesson. You guys probably did not know this. I have the same amount of submissions in the UFC as Jose Aldo. That's amazing. Who knew? But I
You're
knew.
The champ. You're the
yeah. I'm the
Sean.
champ, man. I same amount of submissions as Jose Aldo in the UFC. Listen to all those names.
That's awesome.
I saw that stat and I was like, oh my God, there's no way. And he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Never needed it.
Never needed it. He was the creator of the calf kick in my eyes. He was brutalizing calves before it became a popular thing nowadays. And I love this fight. And also Jose Aldo is the only fighter that has a gold jacket that has fought while he has a gold jacket. John Jones will be the second when he does fight. Hopefully he fights. So this is his second fight while already being in the Hall of Fame. So just want to put that out there too. So a whole bunch of history. Sorry, guys. I know you guys just want the picks. My pick is I'm not picking against Jose fucking Aldo. That's my pick. You're not going to get it out of me. It's biased. It's not biased. Whatever you want to say. It's Jose Aldo. I give you plenty of reasons why I have this bias towards it. I'm picking Jose Aldo. I'll pick decision, but it's going to be a goddamn war.
I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree at all. In my book, Jose Aldo is still the GOAT at that weight class, man. That wraps up the main card. We are moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We have the women's 135-pound championship fight. Champion Raquel "Rocky" Pennington going up against -- ranked Juliana Pena. Woo, boy. We've been waiting for we've been waiting for Pena to come back, man. And she's, she gets herself in trouble with her mouth and with her call outs, to say the least, but you can't deny that she's got what it takes to be champion, especially now that Amanda is out. Raquel Pennington, 16-8 versus Juliana Pena, 11-5. Raquel Pennington has 1 KO win, 4 submission wins, 11 decision wins, coming off of a unanimous decision win over Mayra Bueno Silva in January to secure the strap. Juliana Pena at an 11-5. She has 3 KO wins, 5 submission wins, 3 decisions. She is 3-2 in her last 5, coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Amanda Nunes in July of 2022. So, like we said before, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. This one is going to be interesting, to say the least. I personally, I'll start off the picks on this one, and then I'll throw it to Sean. I personally think that Juliana Pena has what it takes to get it done. Now, is she going to be in tip-top shape, in tip-top form? Remains to be seen. But if we are looking at the numbers, she does have a 1.5-inch reach advantage and a 2-inch leg reach advantage. So I think that the striking that she had, her striking, I think, is fairly underrated. She's not a bad striker. She did rock Nunes before she submitted her. So I do think that she has like sneaky good striking. The numbers for striking, she lands 3.16 per minute. She absorbs 2.3 per minute, and she has a 50% striking defense average. Raquel Pennington lands 4.14 per minute. She has a 52% significant strike percentage, and she absorbs 3.29. So she absorbs just about as many as Juliana Pena lands per minute. As far as the grappling is concerned, though, this is where I think it gets interesting. The takedown average for Juliana Pena is 1.94 per 15 minutes. So she averages just under 2 takedowns per fight. She has a 55% takedown accuracy percentage, and she has a little less than 1 submission average. But the takedown defense percentage on Rocky Pennington's side is 63%. So I think that if Pena is going to secure a submission on this one, she's going to need to shoot more than 2 times, because Raquel Pennington is absolutely going to stuff a good amount of them. She doesn't, Rocky Pennington averages 0.9 takedown average. So she does very well at mixing it up. She does utilize all aspects of her game. When she is on the ground, she is very good at remaining defensive, and she is very good at being able to mount her own offense on it to pass to advantageous positions. You hear people say it all the time in grappling, position over submission. I think Raquel Pennington does that very well. She does not throw up very many submissions, if at all, but she does do a good job of maintaining the dominant position. So I think that the grappling is going to be very interesting on this one. I do think that Juliana Pena will get it done if she is on her game. Now, it's been 2 years. That's a big, big if. It's a big if. But I'm willing to take it on my record. I'm going to say Juliana Pena gets the belt back. I'm just going to throw it on out there, bud. Sean, let me know. Am I completely off on that?
If it was 2 years ago, I would 100% agree, but there's been a couple changes, and this is where I wanted to go into the camp stuff. Juliana Pena used to fight in the same camp in Chicago as Belal Muhammad. Since then, both Belal Muhammad, he still does go into that camp, but he's been training a lot with Khabib and crew out in Dagestan. He'll go out there for camps, and you see the results he's getting. They're phenomenal. And Juliana Pena also has officially left there, and she's doing her own sort of camp. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But Raquel Pennington, she's been straight and narrow. I think she's on a 7-fight win streak, just won a belt against someone that PED tested positive and still beat her. And so I'm just like, hey, and that woman was a takedown artist and wanted to get submissions and could not do it. Couldn't do it. And right. Raquel Pennington won 3 rounds easily, and some people could say even 4 in that fight. I feel like, I know it's been a while since she's fought too. It's been like a year, but at the same point, it's like, I just feel how well she's been fighting and just the consistency of every single fight she does, like the game plan and how she fights. She just finds a way to win. I like Raquel Pennington to win this fight. I think the safest bet's by decision once again, and obviously you're not going to make a lot of money. I know it's a 5-round fight, but it's still going to be like minus 600-700. Sorry guys, these are not girls that finish a lot. Raquel in her 25 fights has been finished once, I think, and she's finished 2 people or 3 people in her entire career. So it's like she finishes are not happening. I think that that's the safest bet. Obviously the odds are not going to look good, but if you're tossed one of the many underdogs we have mentioned, your odds will get better. So need an underdog to hit, toss it with that. My safest bet is going the distance, but I'm still going to pick Pennington to win this fight, to get massacred by Kayla Harrison within 6 months. So.
Yeah. I agree with you, dude. We're unanimous on that. The bet pick for this one is fight to go the distance. I think that if there is going to be a finish, I think that it's going to be on Pena's side. Like you said, Pennington does have 1 KO and 1 submission, but that's it. And they were quite a while ago.
As much as my whole history lesson, knowing where the location is a factor in UFC fights.
Absolutely.
And Chael Sonnen has said this religiously, and I agree with it for many years. Exhaustion makes a coward out of anyone.
Yep.
And you give up the neck, and perfect example is Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. Like, she was exhausted. She hit Juliana Pena with everything in that first fight, got exhausted. Juliana started punching her, and she's like, oh, screw this. I don't want to get hit anymore. Like,
very good
went
call.
Down and gave up the neck willingly. Like, she didn't even try.
So we've seen Pena do it before.
Yeah.
So
that's weird. Salt Lake City is in the main event. I'll mention the next stat that always happens in the main event in Salt Lake City. I'll mention that coming up right up next.
We will take it right on into the main event of the evening. We have Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Alex Pereira at an 11-2 with 9 KOs and 2 decision wins. We have seen him deal with cardio in the past too. It hasn't been for a long time, but we have seen it. Khalil Rountree at 13-5 with 9 KOs and 4 decisions. Neither of these guys have any submissions. Neither of these guys are going to be going for a submission. I think in their entire careers, Alex Pereira has shot for 1 takedown. Khalil Rountree has shot for none. So whether this was whether this was at elevation or not, I have never once, and I never will, see this fight go in the distance.
No.
Khalil Rountree currently riding a 5-fight win streak, whereas Alex Pereira is on a 4-fight win streak. Neither of these guys have lost in some years. Jiří Procházka KO was Alex's last fight. Khalil Rountree, obviously, also a TKO against Anthony Smith, but that was last December. Alex Pereira has fought, I think, twice since then, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Jamal Hill almost 3 times, almost by 1 month, almost 3 times. But yeah, he fought Jamal Hill and Jiří Procházka. So it's been a little bit for Khalil Rountree, which I don't think plays too much of a factor. I just hope they're both up there already. I hope they both have been up there for a while. But this one I think is going to be super exciting. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to let you know right off the rip, this is going to be a knockout. I don't see this fight going past 2.5, if it even makes it to the second round.
Correct.
As far as I covered it a little bit on TikTok. They have the same leg reach. Alex Pereira has a 2.5-inch reach advantage and a 3-inch height advantage. So the size factor will be on his side, and he is able to utilize the long strikes very well. He does work the calf kicks quite well, like we mentioned. And Khalil Rountree he's very well-rounded. He does throw a lot of probing kicks. He does work the kicks very well. He does damage your legs when he does kick you, which is, you know, you need your legs to throw your punches. You need your legs to do just about everything. And, you know, both of these guys being so good with the hands and being so formidable with their kicks and their kickboxing, it's going to make for such a very interesting fight. It's going to be so much fun. As far as the strikes landed per minute, Alex Pereira is at a 5.23, Khalil Rountree at a 3.84. They both have about a 50% striking defense percentage. Khalil Rountree absorbs 4.18 strikes per minute, whereas Alex only a 3.51. And significant strikes landed. This is interesting. Alex Pereira is at a 63%, where Khalil Rountree is at a 39%. Alex Pereira throws, and when he throws, most of the time he lands. And when he lands, most of the time you get knocked the fuck out. And then, just for good measure, I'll cover the grappling. Neither of these guys shoot takedowns. Neither of these guys do submissions. The takedown accuracy for Alex Pereira in his one takedown was 100%. His takedown defense is at a 70%. Khalil Rountree has a 58% takedown defense. So these guys are good at stopping the takedowns, but very, very unlikely that there will be any. This one, like I said, I'm going under 2.5 on this one as my rounds on this one. The official pick, who the hell knows? I'm going to say under 2.5 is my official pick on this one as far as the bets are concerned, because you have to drop KO for either of these guys. So make sure you have a little bit of money left over by the time the main event rolls around, because you need to, you have to, whoever you like, just whoever you like, it's a coin toss. It's going to be favored for Alex Pereira, but Khalil Rountree can absolutely win this fight by knockout. He's been one of my favorite fighters for so long, and I'm like super biased in my picks. I know people are going to be upset, but I think Khalil Rountree has a lot better chance to get this done than most people are giving him. He opened at a plus 350. I think that it's just going to be an absolute all-out war. It's going to be so much fun, dude. And this fight is not going the distance. These guys are going to be, you know, firing leg kicks off at each other, looking to get openings and just looking to throw hard shots. And whoever lands cleanest, whoever lands first, whoever lands cleanest is who it's going down. I know Khalil Rountree is at the disadvantage, but I think that he's way more capable of doing it than a lot of people realize. So I'm going to go, my official bet is under 2.5, and sprinkle either which way on this one, whichever way that you feel, because it could go either way. Sean, what do you got, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback with what you were saying about like Khalil actually has a really good chance when it comes to striking. I think of anyone in 205 when it comes to just striking that they're going to try to go with Alex Pereira. I think Khalil Rountree has the best chance of anyone that's willing to stand on feet. Like, I picked Jamal Hill to beat Alex Pereira, but that's because I saw how good of a grappler he was against Glover Teixeira, and I expected something about that. I didn't expect him to have the CTE before the fight. I was expecting him to have it after the fight. So that's on me. I should have paid attention to Jamal Hill's tweets and stuff a little more to realize that this guy's clinically insane. But with Khalil Rountree, he's the only guy that's broken a guy's femur in UFC history, which is disgusting. That is insane power, and that's brutal. And feel bad for the guy that got his femur broken. That's bad. That's real bad. So Khalil Rountree is no slouch, and he can take a hit too. So, and you're going to have to. Both of them are going to have to. Yep. Like, they're both going to get touched. And so KO under 2.5, definite. I do like Alex Pereira because he is their former professional glory kickboxer in 2 different weight classes. You got, and no one on the feet other than Israel Adesanya won. And I think that's because Alex Pereira was sucking down too much weight. Like it gets to your head. Like, I think at 205, no one's knocking him out that easily. Like, and I think he's going to get to Khalil Rountree before Khalil gets to him, but it could go the other way. Obviously, knockout's the easiest option, and I'm going to pick Alex Pereira to get it done. Oh, and then a little history about Salt Lake City, Utah. The last 2 years that they've had this was Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 2, head kick knockout. And then the year prior was Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards 2, the head kick knockout. Ooh. So I'm going to pick, to keep the streak going, I'm going with head kick knockout Alex Pereira to get the streak continuing in the main event for the 3rd year in a row. You got to have it done.
I love it. I love it. That is awesome too. I knew that too, and I don't know why I didn't think of that. That is a fantastic pick. I love that, dude. The toughest part though for me, like I been saying, is just I love Khalil Rountree, and I was really hoping that he got this shot. I didn't think that it was going to come this soon. I thought it was going to take a little bit more time, obviously with his suspension, but it just sucks so bad because I love Alex Pereira and I don't ever want to see him lose, but I would really love to see Khalil Rountree become champion before it's all said and done. So I don't know if this is going to be his only shot. It's a hell of a shot. It's a hell of an opponent to win a belt against, but I think it's fitting if he's able to do it. He's been calling for this fight for multiple fights ago. He's been calling for this, and it's always just been such an exciting matchup. I didn't think we were going to get it this soon, so it kind of makes me a little tentative, like, oh, I thought this was I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, man. Like I was like, you know, I thought we were going to see Rakic next. I thought that we were going to see possibly Pereira go back down to middleweight, or Dracus du Plessis go up and then try to do a champ fight. I didn't think we were going to get it this soon, but I'm glad Khalil's getting his shot because he's a hell of a dude and he deserves it. And I really want to see him win, but he's going to have to earn it, man. That is a tough outing. Tough outing.
Yep. My girlfriend picked Rountree.
Rountree, yes.
Yep.
Whenever you pick someone and I pick someone else, I win.
She's trying to flex. She's trying to flex. That's what she's doing right now.
If it gets the win, I'll take it. We wrap up with the lock and the dog of the week. I'm still sitting on Kayla Harrison as the lock. Do you have any objections?
That's
okay. Boom, listed. Kayla Harrison is the lock of the week. How about dog of the week? We got some dogs on this one, bro.
Jose Aldo. We did it last time he was fighting. He was a dog, and we picked dog of the week, and he got it done. I'm sticking with it, dude. It's Jose fucking Aldo.
I'll take it. That's beautiful. Jose has not let us down yet. As far as the other dogs that we had on this one, there's some that I think there's gonna be some upsets.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Going to be some upsets. Picking who it's going to be, picking who it's going to be is the tough part. But I can tell you 100% there's going to be some upsets. Carla Esparza is currently a +150. Ihor Potieria is a +310. Ovince St. Preux, yes. Ovince St. Preux at a +265. Where is Marina Rodriguez at a +145? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at a +170. Roman Dolidze at a +160. Khalil Rountree at a +360. Juliana Pena at a +135. Dang, did we pick all underdogs?
So I think this card we're gonna look really stupid or like geniuses. After Saturday night.
Well, I know. Yeah, On the last one, I think we went 6-4, 6-5, something like that. So we hit at just about the exact 60% hit rate that we've been averaging. This one, I think, though, is going to be, you know, if you wanna just go all favorites, I'm not mad at you, but I'm telling you right now, there's going to be some upsets, and I think that we called a few of them at least.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm comfortable with Jose Aldo. I think Jose Aldo is our dog of the week. Lock it in. Lock it in. Boom. And then last thing before we get out of here, if there's one pick on here that you think is going to be the one that is like the upset pick, like something that people don't see coming, like maybe not like an underdog to win, but like Alex Pereira to win by submission or decision, or Khalil Rountree to win by decision, or something weird like that. Is there anything on this card that's super weird that you think we should keep an eye on?
Yeah, and that's someone gassing, like someone that's not normally used to gassing. This is in Salt Lake City, Utah. We see it each year. If you go back and watch fights, obviously, I don't expect a lot of people to be as big into this as us, that we're going to go watch a whole entire card from a year or two ago, but we will. And you'll see fighters that have never gassed gas. When you get the Mexico Cities, you get the Colorado cards, which only happens once every couple of years, but then you get Salt Lake City that happens every year. Like, there's fighters that we're going to gas, and expect to see that out of a person that you don't expect it to happen to. It's going to. It's something that, and one thing I would do is watch Embedded, and watch Embedded for the factor of seeing who's showing up there early or who's been there. And if they haven't been there, it's like, oh, maybe I want to pick against them if they're not used to it. Like last year, I used Dustin Poirier. Showed up. Dustin Poirier, even though his cardio is great, showed up 5 days prior to fight. Justin Gaethje was there for a month in Salt Lake City, and he trains in Colorado, so he's used to that shit. Did it make a difference? No, but like I don't think it made a difference in Dustin's cardio. But Justin looked faster in that fight. He just looked faster in the fight the entire time. So pay attention to that. Altitude is the biggest thing. Try to see where everyone's at. Follow their social medias. If you're trying to make some serious money, be a little stalkerish. Try to find out where these guys are at. Find out. See who's actually doing their homework.
Got to, dude. Got to be a nerd. Got to be a nerd. Nothing wrong with being a nerd at all. I love it. I love it. But there you go, folks. All the official picks, lock and dog. We'll have them displayed on the screen for you. I'll make sure someone pointed out in the comments on the last one. I will make sure to get the timestamps in as soon as I post on this one. Thank you as always to Pillow Fight. Thank you as always to all of you subscribers, all of you that tune in and follow us on social media. If you're just coming across this video, hit subscribe. You can search us up, The Fight Pit. Fight Pit's all one word. We're also on Instagram, The Official Fight Pit. You can get, I'll have both of our tags showing too. You can find us both on there. Give us a follow. Drop in the comments what you think. If you like our picks, if you hate them, whatever, just let us know. Appreciate you, Sean. You're the man. You're the man.
Always fun doing it.
It's the best part of the week, bro. I swear. Best part of the week. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you on the next one. As always, the Fight Pit house call here every week for every single card. We will see you again soon. Peace.